isn't gross.
Yeah,
I forgot to chop the carrots.
I don't like carrots. I think I like the smell of vegetables being made, but
This doesn't smell good.
I can't smell right now, so.
Are you sick?
No.
Well, good thing, because it doesn't smell good.
Because I think that's absorbing it.
Some of it, yeah.
So I can't, like, unless I get, like, really close to it, I can smell it.
Don't get close.
Yeah. Would I throw up?
No, I almost started retching.
Well, what are you making?
Soup?
Well, why is it lumpy soup?
Because it's cream of chicken and corn.
Oh.
I combined, because I didn't have broth, so I used the chicken soup, which was a little bit chunky. Hello everyone. So, what I just recorded was a video of me chopping carrots because I was thinking about the idea of content. Recently, I just rewatched Bo Burnham's Inside from 2021. I watched it in the midst of the pandemic, and I remember being really upset because it didn't feel like he was strategically making something to make us upset. He was just recording his thoughts and the way that came into his art during the pandemic. And I feel like if I were to ever meet him, I would say something like, for every one person that gets to be able to make content and post it on the internet and gets 1 million views, there are 1 million people who make a video just like that, but they don't get viewed. That's really important because there's so many thoughts I have with this. But I don't remember the pandemic. I blocked it out. I was 16 years old. I don't remember my thoughts before the pandemic, and I don't really remember anything. I remember going to online school, and I remember that I did that. I remember that I probably scrolled on my phone a lot. I remember that I couldn't hang out with my friends, even though they were hanging out, because my mom didn't want me to get sick because of COVID. I remember the first day the school got shut down, but I don't remember the pandemic. Recently, I was joking with my friend, and I said, like, well, we've never been through, like, no, I wasn't joking, but I said something along the lines of, we've never been through anything tragic, and he was like, the pandemic. And I said, oh, I forgot about that, because I just forget. I don't remember what college was like before the pandemic. All I know now is I feel like the teachers are going hard on us because they're giving us deadlines in a way that I've never experienced before. Because when high school got hard, I was 15, 16, and then I went to online school where they gave us, like, till the end of the cycle, the end of the semester, you can submit anything you want. And I would submit 10 assignments on the last day that I could, because that's just how it worked. And it's not that college is hard in the sense, it's just that I've never experienced what college really was like before the pandemic. So anyway, what I recorded is called content. Another example is one of my best friends, we're roommates, one of her favorite YouTubers is just this woman, and she's cool, you know, she goes around with her camera and she talks, and I like that. I like commentary videos, but anyway, she makes content. She goes to Target and she points at things and she describes the object. And my friend and I were kind of like, do you guys like watching this? Like, she's just pointing at Christmas ornaments and describing it. I can see the Christmas ornament and I'd probably be able to describe it. But she's this really big YouTuber and gets a lot of views for that, for making content of things. So myself, the viewer, can't have as many of those original thoughts. Instead, we'll just react and be like, oh no, I don't think that's cute, or oh, I think that's cute. And it kind of dumbs it down in a way of what the human can think originally. I remember having a YouTube channel in 2018 and thinking, what can I do to get popular? What can I do to get views and subscribers? And I would see a lot of house tours. So my very first YouTube channel in 8th grade was my house tour. And I showed this video of like what the closet looked like with all their coats in it. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna post that. And I posted it, and it was like 2 minutes and 36 seconds long. I'm not a massive freaking YouTuber that got really popular, was able to buy a giant house, and then did a house tour of their mansion. You know what I mean? Like, but that's what content was back then. So that was my first YouTube video I made. Another YouTube video I made was like a cleaning vlog, and my mom told me to clean the bathroom, and I was like, I can make content out of this. So I filmed me cleaning, and it got like 80 views. You know, I feel like making content and recording, like, I used the word mundane before, just like human things, gives us like a lack of original thought, because our thought does not become, I'm doing this activity and this is what they did in the 90s, but they didn't record it. The thought becomes, how can I make this video exciting to get views? I would get 100 views in a video and get really excited, because I thought like 100 people. But in reality, what that is it's like you walking through a hallway in high school. You pass 100 people to get to your 4th period class. How many of those people do you really know? How many of those people are you really friends with that would actually stop and say hi or wave at you in the hallway? Maybe, let's just say 4 out of 100. So you're getting 100 views in a YouTube video, and I was so excited in 8th grade, but probably only 4 people actually enjoyed the content. You know what I mean? I think back then, in 6th grade, I really wanted to be a YouTuber. I made this like paper mache thing, and it was like, what do you want your future career to be? No one wanted to be a doctor back then. I was like, I want to be a YouTuber. Nowadays, I think the #1 job that kids respond when they get asked that question is influencer. Influencer doesn't mean anything to me. I'm 20 years old, I'm Gen Z. Influencer means absolutely nothing to me. It means you're making videos for content, and you're wasting people's time. I don't know what an influencer was. I wouldn't call the YouTubers I watched that played Minecraft hardcore and taught me how to make a freaking mob spawner out of cobblestone. I wouldn't call those people influencers. So why is a TikTok dancer an influencer? Why is a YouTuber that's going to Target and pointing at things and describing the colors an influencer? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to shame anyone for liking these people, because when you like the people that do certain things, like go to Target and describe things, you're liking a human, and that's completely normal. But I started kind of getting these ideas more spawned into my brain because, I started getting these ideas a little bit at a time, but then there was a big moment where I watched Maddie Healy go on like a 2-hour and like 15-minute talk. It wasn't really a podcast. They were just talking, and he was talking to this guy named Josh or something. And he just talked about the internet. And he said, he's like, I feel like I'm the only one really speaking so about this. And it was very intellectual. Every single thing he said in the video, I was like, oh my God, I wrote a lot of things down. And he referenced a lot of people. He referenced band. He referenced musicians. He referenced political people. He referenced people with big ideas. You know, what you might call an activist. I just think the history of what we're doing now is, like, during the Black Lives Matter movement, people called themselves activists that were, like, my age, and they were just, like, posting things on their Instagram story of, like, protests. I don't know if these people attended a protest, but they were just posting about it, because during that time, and this is what I was reminded in by Inside by Bo Burnham, is that why does everyone have to give a fuck about every single thing? I'm not talking about Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about every single freaking thing that happened during that time, and everyone was like, you should be using your voice for everything. Then it goes further to, like, the Brittany Broski thing. And it's like all of these ideas build up, and I feel like people my age would watch one thing and just agree with it because their favorite YouTuber said it. So people maybe if this happened like 4 or 5 years ago, people would just immediately agree with Brittany Broski. But after everything that happened in 2020 socially and the way that social media was used, people finally had the chance to like think about what our favorite YouTubers are actually saying. And think about that people having mistrust in the government is something that started since the government started and began. But there's always a clashing point. So the clashing point in like the US government was Nixon during Watergate. That no one really liked the president anymore. They wanted someone that could save them. And in this dark age of the internet, I don't know if people think that like Elon Musk is saving us because he like rebranded Twitter and now you can like tweet the N-word. Like, I don't know who thinks what anymore because there's so many different things. All I know is that I just want to have an original thought for once. Back then, I'm telling you, like 2013, what we used to think like an original thought isn't possible because there's 9 billion people, or back then maybe there was 8 billion people. And you couldn't have an original thought because there's 8 billion other people. But in my circle, I would still say things that people thought were funny, and I didn't tell them that I got that from a YouTube video. And I think that's what it is now. It was kind of a secret to have like an original thought, but it came from content. Nowadays, it's like, it's a reference to a TikTok. And after I say something funny, I look at my friends and I say, guys, like, did you see that TikTok? And then we say something funny. And even if I don't know the TikTok that my friend just referenced, I still laugh because it's funny. Because really what we're doing is human connection, but it gets like digitalized, and it doesn't turn into a human thing anymore. It turns into like a phone thing, a TikTok thing, something I saw on Twitter, and not like, oh, this funny person said this. That's why people, when they tell a funny joke, they say it in like the first person, like, oh, my wife, blah, 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 but really it was a joke they found on Twitter. That's in like Good Will Hunting, it's in a lot of movies. But it's not in movies, it's in life, and it's in human. So, I'm going on this long tangent because I feel really passionate about this, but in a very, like, it's just me saying this. I'm in my dorm, like, alone. But this is the first time where I really wanted to say something and be like, okay, I'm gonna put this on the internet, and I don't care how many people watch it, it's just gonna be there. Because maybe one person out of that 100 people will get what I'm saying. I don't know if I ever want it to be 250,000 people watch the video just like they watched the Maddie Healy interview that I really enjoyed and say, oh, I agree with this. Those are all people that love Maddie Healy. I don't know if they exactly understand. You can't count on those people understanding exactly what he's talking about, but people just like Maddie Healy. So that's what it is. The culture now is that, like, to like a band, you have to like the people in it. And not just like, I really like this band. You know? Another way of saying that is like, I really love the band Nirvana. Do I like the people in Nirvana? I love Kurt Cobain. I really like Chris Novoselic, but like, I never really got into Foo Fighters, and I don't really know Dave Grohl that well. I love Nirvana, but do I really know the people in the band? So that's another example somehow. To summarize this video, if you're recording everything you do for content, human interactions for content, it's like filming doing a good deed for a stranger and you getting 100,000 views on it and you make a lot of money because you recorded giving food to a homeless person. I would never do that. I cannot. Why would you ever pull out your phone and be like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, I'm so glad he did this. Boy, why don't you do it? Anyway, I had a thought. What the heck is wrong here? I had one more thought. When you record human things like cutting carrots or cleaning for content and you're posting it on the internet, you have now become a digital figure. It almost like there are some things that I don't want to say it unhumanizes you, but I think it takes the enjoyment out of being a human. Like, the same way that I get frustrated for setting up the camera to record, that couple 20 seconds or maybe a minute of frustration makes me not want to record anymore. So these are just thoughts I have. And let me know. Let me know if you want to hear more. And let me know if you want to hear more.